Hello and welcome to the Switchrpg podcast. I am one of your hosts, Gio, and I'm joined as always by Johnny. Johnny, how's it going?
It's going good. How's it going?
It's going good. This is the show from Switchrpg.com where we talk about the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch. This week we are talking about more pre-E3 stuff. We got rumors, we have new game announcements, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like when we say pre-E3, I mean there's announcements after announcements. It's like there's like a whole event before E3 actually happens. There's a lot of stuff going on. But first,
the rumor sprites are in the air. They're flying. They're sprinkling their fairy dust. Their rumor dust all over the place.
Yeah. There's a ton of things going on. But first, I want to talk about our Discord server. Don't forget to visit our Discord server at discord.switchrpg.com. Also, some of our other socials. You can visit us on Twitter at SwitchRPG as well as Facebook. I think it's SwitchRPG.com as well. And always, you can find me on the YouTube side of things. All right, so that's some quick housekeeping. Johnny, what you playing?
What have I been playing? I've been actually. Last time we talked, I wasn't playing much. Now I'm playing a whole lot.
Okay.
So I've been working on Catherine for the Switch. It's the
Catherine.
full body edition.
Uh-huh.
It's that I guess novel-esque, visual novel slash puzzle, vertical puzzle block pushing
Yep.
game. Interesting stuff. I think the block pushing stuff, the gameplay mechanics are really, really good. I just think the execution in level design is sort of holding the design itself back. Because it's not coming across as being as intuitive as I would have liked or hoped. So there's that. There's also like this thing, whatever the thing may be. Either the floor below you is constantly sinking, or there's something chasing you, and that gives you a sense of like dread as you're going through the puzzle, because if you take too long to go through it, you're gonna end up falling and dying, and then you get a number of retries, but the redo stuff isn't super solid because it doesn't undo enough. It only undoes one movement, so you got to be a little vigilant on it. So it can be. It gets to the point where you have to sort of kill yourself in order to restart from a checkpoint in a level.
Yep.
So it's like the gameplay mechanics, as I said, for the puzzle stuff is good and interesting, but the execution, how they implemented it, especially in terms of level design, and I guess some of the sort of restrictions or the losing mechanics of that, it could deserve some reworking. If they ever make a sequel, I'm certain they'll resolve those types of things.
Yeah.
But
I want to say I thought I saw that they were making a sequel. I was kind of just trying to look that up, but it might have just been a rumor. But
yeah.
okay.
And the story stuff in that game is just it's interesting,
Mhm.
but it's also the dialogue exchanges are pretty bland. There isn't much to it. It's very I don't know how to describe it. It's just not, there isn't meaningful dialogue in there. It's just very, the words that they use and the words that they say aren't thought provoking. It's a little tropey, a little generic. It's all like dialogue exchanges that you've heard said
Right.
back and forth over and over again on like every anime ever existed, every sort of animated anything ever existed, just very tropey. So those types of things. Now, what happens in the storyline is fairly unique. I would say pretty unique and interesting, but the execution, which is in the dialogue, is where it falls short. So
Okay.
it, it's an execution. Game ain't bad at all, though. I'm enjoying the game.
Okay. Okay.
It's just a little letdown from where it was. I played a little bit of Super Bomberman R online.
Did you say is it Bomba Man?
Bomber.
Bomber.
Do you want me to fully pronounce Bomber?
Yes, the Bombers.
The Bomber Man. Uh, so so this what a surprise this announcement was and release because it's Konami.
Yeah, right.
It's a Konami game on a brand new Konami game on Switch and on other platforms, but like that came out of nowhere, and I'm a Bomberman fan,
Yeah.
so I was cautiously optimistic about this. And the R part is basically a royale, so it's you and 63 other Bombermen uh, that are all battling together, but not all at the same time. There's like the big world itself has multiple panels to it, and it's 4 per panel.
Right.
And then once you're the last one standing in that panel, you then move to another panel, and you're likely to be joined by other Bombermen within your panel, and things kind of like everyone focuses on getting closer and closer towards the center until there's one, a Bomberman one or
Ha-
Bomber one or something like that.
have you won yet?
Nah, I just deleted the game. I played it a few rounds and I was like,
Meh.
it's fine. It's meh. That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's meh. It's an execution thing. It's just it lacks polish and it's a little buggy.
Mm.
And being able to um there's a term for it. I don't know. What's the word? Parachute in, hop in, bootstrap,
Bomb in. Dive bomb.
in, dive in. I guess the whole process of clicking the button to join in the next match to queue up and have that automate through so that you're in the match. So to go from yes, I want to join the match to going through the lengthy things and steps and wait screens that you have to go through
Hmm.
before you're finally in the match to bomb stuff. It's a little longer than what is expected, especially when you could end up losing sooner than what you waited to queue up.
Right.
So the actual gameplay can end up being shorter than queuing up to play the game.
Right. I mean, is there a such thing? Because I'm familiar with the concept. Is there a such thing as like a quick match where maybe it's a smaller number of players at a time instead of the massive 64?
If you're doing single player, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing, nothing like no
Uh,
32, nothing like that.
no, and
16.
and this is in contrast to another game I actively play and still play because it's been out for like I don't know 2 months now or something like that, which is Pac-Man 99.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is you just hit the button once and boom, you don't have to push any other buttons. You just wait for 90 or 98 other people to queue up and you're in the match. It's so quick so that you're able to get to constantly into the next match, and that is awesome.
Hey,
And
it's Konami, all right. They haven't released a game on the Switch in a while. Cut them some slack here.
well, I'm not going to cut them slack. I mean, it's a great concept. It's just
Yeah.
the execution fell short. It's free to play. They have some of the characters are you have to buy. Well, you don't
Oh.
have to. You can, but it just
Mm.
looks like some of the characters that are paid DLC are a little bit more powerful than the standard repertoire of Bombermen people. So
That's not good. I hope
yeah.
that I hope that's not the case at all.
And these paid characters are all awesome. It's paid characters are Bomberman-ified characters of Konami franchises. So
Okay.
Contra's there, Castlevania's there, uh, Metal Gear Solid's there. They got like characters representing all these awesome franchises from Konami, but they're paid DLC.
Of course they are.
Yeah, yeah. But
Sorry.
and as I
Terrible.
was saying, like Pac-Man 99 is way better for a battle royale take on an old school game.
Hmm.
I really dig Pac-Man 99. I still have yet to get number one. I've
Hmm.
gotten number two so many times, but number one is ah, there are some really good Pac-Man players out there, and I just keep failing.
Just got to
So
get
I'm a little,
good.
yeah. Another game I played just a little bit is Final Fantasy 12. I got into like a roadblock on a dungeon,
Hmm.
and that has deterred me from progressing. I gotta look up a walkthrough uh, to get past the point that I'm at.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a head scratcher. There's like no clear indication as to how I need to proceed. So
How are you fairly early in the game?
no, I'm like
Okay.
20 hours in.
I have you played quite a number of Final Fantasy games?
Yep, yeah, I
Okay.
played a lot.
Where would you rank this one so far? I know you hit a roadblock, but
Let's see. I'm
just
gonna ignore the roadblock stuff. I would say it's probably the second best one I've played.
yeah. I I'm gonna have to agree. And initially, when this first came out, because it was just such a drastic turn from their norm. You know, they went from Final Fantasy X to to 12 basically. And it was just so different. Not turn based. It's active time battle. So they were trying something out very new. I hated it. In fact, I probably played it once. It was like brand new. When I decided to play it again, and what helped that was the Zodiac expansion, or the whatever that fix.
Yep.
That helped it big time. But yeah, it definitely climbed up the Final Fantasy rankings. That's for sure. But it's what's your number one?
Oh, Tactics by a landslide.
Okay.
Like nothing even comes close. Like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics is way better than any of the other Final Fantasy games by a lot.
Yeah. I figured a tactics type game would be your your up there quite a bit, but yeah.
It
Okay.
just has the tactics games. It has the great storytelling that all the other Final Fantasy games have. It has great music that all the other fantasy Final Fantasies have. Uh, but it has the gameplay to back it up. The
Yeah.
solid combat system, gameplay, just it's always interesting from start to finish.
Mhm.
That's what really separates it from everything else. In 12, the combat system's interesting, but it's still like pretty basic. And I'm using the Gambit system, and I have everything automated, so I just hit the speed up button to just auto win all the battles.
Mhm.
And if it's a boss battle, then maybe I need to like manually control it.
Right.
But other than that, it's still basic, but it's more it's definitely a more complex combat system than other Final Fantasies I've played. So
Yeah, right. Cool. What else you playing?
ah, and then I finished a couple of games.
Oh.
So first I finished a game called Inside.
Oh, I that game looks really cool. I don't know how it plays or anything, but it looks like atmospheric and creepy. No, no, is that the game I'm thinking of?
Yeah, probably it's the game that's made by it's
Shucklefish?
not Chucklefish. It's the spiritual successor to Limbo. Limbo was like
Mhm.
a renowned Xbox 360 indie
Right.
game.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, this is not the game. I'm thinking of I think it's Inmost.
Inmost. Okay. Yep, not that. This is Inside. It's a kind of like creepy
Mhm.
sci-fi side scroll puzzle adventure game.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a physics-based puzzle game. It's real good. The game won like really high praise and awards. It got perfect tens and stuff like that. I have no clue why. It's not that good. It's not game of the year good. It's a really good game though. It is really good. It's just game of the year, getting it a perfect 10, like app I do not see it. I do not see it. but it is a very finely crafted game. I would
Yeah.
s- it takes about it's also short. It only takes about like 5 hours to get through.
Okay.
And it is worth going through for that 5 hours. It is definitely worth its time and money. I got it when it was on sale, I think for like 10 or 13 or $14. It's definitely well worth that. It's well worth the full price too. It is a excellent experience. I'm the only reason why I'm taking it down a notch is because it was where I perceived it to be was at the highest tier of notches, which is like game of the year type material. And for indie game of the year, yeah, I'd have to reassess what indie games came out at the same time. But I would kind of agree, indie game of the year. But to just be overall game of the year, absolutely not.
You're such a you're
Yeah,
such a
I
harsh
know.
critic.
I know. I apologize. Like the game is absolutely solid. I really did enjoy it. There's a lot of questions I have.
This is Johnny's skill. Oh, it's a solid. The narrative is perfect. The sound design is phenomenal. 6 out of 10.
I would give that game probably a solid 9 out of 10. Just straight up 9 out of
That
10.
that's
No
pretty
point.
dang good.
It is. It is a really good game. All right, and then the last game, which I played and beat in like 3 sittings,
Wow.
is Rising Hell, which is very new.
Yeah.
Uh, got the code, played it, did a little video record,
Yep. On,
and
on the YouTube. Yep.
yeah, and played a little more and ended up beating it. And it's a roguelike. It's kind of like Hades, except without story whatsoever. It's more arcadey, which I really like. The fact that it's very quick, easy, just go in. The sessions are pretty short, very arcadey. It's fast paced combat as well, and you're always going up.
Right.
And you can never go back down if there are like those platforms where you can jump up through,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes if you like on that platform, you tap down, you go through it.
You can't
This
do
one
it.
doesn't have that, so
Yeah.
it just prevents you from going down. So you're always going up, and you're defeating enemies, and you're combo chaining, and um, you're collecting their I forgot what it was called, like red gems or red shards or blood or something like that.
Yeah. It's
You're
red. Something
collecting
red.
yeah, something red. You're collecting that, and then you're spending it at the end of every level, or sometimes there's a merchant that randomly appears, and you'll spend it to get boons. I forgot what the boons are called. Talents. They might be called talents or something like that. That give you like 50% more damage when such and such happens, stuff like that. And you just go through, and there's I don't know, like 4 to 6 levels per world or per stage or whatever. Or because you're going up this tower, and at the very top of the tower is the boss, and there's only 3 biomes to the tower. And at the end of every biome, there's a major archdemon that you're going to fight, and there's 4 archdemons in total. The fourth biome is just straight to the boss. There's nothing. There's no like levels in between. So it's
Okay.
really just 3 biomes, 3 like worlds, pieces of the tower or whatever, floors. They're more than floors. And then a boss an archdemon at each one. There's always going to be a mini boss in between each of those as well. So there's 3 mini bosses, 3 major bosses, and then the final boss, which is also an archdemon type thing. So you can go through the game and beat it in less than an hour. But that's not going to happen because you're going to fail a few times. But I didn't really fail all that often. I didn't even come close to unlocking everything because the long-term currency that you get as you're completing it is called blight, and you use that to like unlock extra stuff, which is not necessary at all. It's
Mm.
nothing that makes your runs better. It's just things that give you a different option. I think they're called artifacts. I forgot what or relics. Might be called relics. They give you slightly different play styles, slightly different things to worry about as you're playing. There's also a long-term progress bar, and I think that does give you something substantial. But I beat it at like level 6, and the thing goes up to like level 30 or 40.
Oh wow.
So I like beat it way sooner than I guess expected or whatever. The game is challenging, but it's not super challenging. And there's even a checkbox for like an easy mode checkbox. I didn't
Really?
use it. I didn't know
Are you
why
sure?
yeah, there is. It's I forgot what it's called.
Oh, are you sure you didn't check the box?
I did not check the box. I'm telling you this right now. I did not because if you check the box, it allows you to die 3 times.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't check the box because you just die and that's it. You have to start a new run again. Um, and then when you beat the game, every time you beat it, there's this thing called agony, and you gain an agony level. And so you can play the game again at a higher agony level, and that adds extra difficulty things. It
Okay.
mixes it up so that way every time you're playing it, it doesn't change it up. So I
Gotcha.
beat it, and then I was like, oh, maybe I got a really good run. So I just started a new run immediately after beating it, and I
Right.
ended up beating it again. And I'm like, I just beat the game twice in a row. I think I'm done. So
I got to because there's a demo available on the eShop. I played the demo, and there was a particular room that I was caught in, or floor or biome or whatever you want to call it, and the floor kept raising. It was like spikes, so you
yeah,
had you had to go up and go up rather quickly. But yeah, it's a very metal, heavy metal soundtrack or very metal feeling. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
The soundtrack's great. Love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The artwork's great too.
yeah. Pixel art's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I beat it also on my first run on the demo, or I beat the demo fairly easy.
How far does the demo get you?
It gets you to the first boss pretty much.
First boss. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe doing those agony runs is kind of where the difficulty or the challenge is. That first run is just to really get a taste of the game, and then really the difficulty will spike up. I don't know.
Eh,
I don't know.
not really. 'Cause I beat the second time at Agony 2, and then I unlocked Agony 3, and eh, it's eh,
Yeah.
I guess, I suppose. But then there's a long-term sort of bonuses that you can gain that you
Oh,
unlock, right?
okay.
Which I like I said, I beat it at like level 6 or whatever on the long-term progress bar, and every level gets you something. It unlocks something or gives you some sort of passive increase. So I think if you increase your agony, you're gonna also increase your level. So the difficulty increase versus the agony or the passives that you unlock will probably balance each other out
Right.
more or less. Plus, once you kind of figure out how to play each of the bosses, it didn't really change it up, so,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's
yeah, it's
kind of
well,
disappointing, really.
well, the game it was surprising when they were charging $10 for the game, right?
Yep, it is. Yep, it is $10. Yep.
So, for the price, I was wondering why it was just $10. I thought it might have been really short because of that price point, and it is really short.
Yeah.
But it is a very well executed, short, fun little roguelike romp. It's not excellent and going to get like major high praise or anything like that, but it is pretty well executed. Uh, Kind of throughout, right? Great art, great music.
Hmm.
The gameplays are relatively solid, very simple,
Yeah.
but it works. There wasn't any major bugs or glitchy things. There is some bugs and glitchy things, but there wasn't anything major that broke the game for me or anything like that.
Hmm.
So I would say it would be worth someone's time if they're into sort of heavy metal and arcadey roguelikes. There is something there.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
Oh my! I thought you'd never ask. Um, I did finish a game called Rise Eterna by Forever Entertainment. I think they're the publisher, and it's a pixel art game. It's very much reminiscent of the early Fire Emblem games, but not nearly complex or in depth as them. There were points in time where I was just hoping for things to happen, like more ranged characters in the party, and that never happened. The party selection is very there are a lot of them. Like you can have up to 6 in your party, and most of them, if not all of them, I think there was one ranged character, which is really kind of disappointing. And he was an archer, and I had gotten my archer so strong that I was killing enemies before they even reached my melee guys. So it became very easy mode once my archer was kind of in play or maxed out.
Yeah,
So
you talked about that game a bit ago,
mhm.
and you said that the number of different, I guess, interactions or abilities you could use, it was mostly just attacking
Just
and
attacking. Yeah, there's
and
no special
using items,
skills.
right?
Yeah, use an item, special skills, unlock a door, unlock a chest. Very, very basic. And I wanted more. I wanted like a special abilities. There were some I want to say they were buffs, but not. They call it support. But the support feature, basically an enemy has to be adjacent to one another. Or I mean, your two characters have to be adjacent. But support skills and whatever it is the support means is never fully explained in the game. So there are buffs or as you're leveling up, you can improve your support skills, but you don't even know what you're improving. You have no clue. So, and that's not written anywhere in the game. So the I really wanted more of this because I like the old school style Fire Emblem type game, and it's very, very
Yeah.
reminiscent of that. It's just not there. It's just not there. But
Yeah, it it looks like it's a Fire Emblem meets a tactics game, but
yeah,
using it's like a tactics game, but using Fire Emblem the simple
yeah,
early Fire Emblem mechanics.
yeah, because you definitely don't have like a troop or a group of within a character like Fire Emblem does. It's just they're solo players or solo characters.
Well, Fire Emblem doesn't have troops within characters. Only the newest one
The
does.
newer ones, okay. Um, so yeah, it definitely doesn't have that in terms of what Fire Emblem does, but yeah, it just falls short on a few things, and I think what's gonna initially grab people is that it looks like early Fire Emblem games, and
Yeah.
it's just not there.
It
Music
did.
music is okay, kind of generic at some points. The writing is kind of it feels like there are two different stories being told. If you follow, I don't want to ruin anything, just in case someone wants to play it. Like two different stories being told. There are points in the story where you're rescuing your sisters, or you're finding your sisters, and you find it's the same. It's the same for all the sisters. They're holed up in a town, and the people in the village want to protect the sister for unknown reasons, and still unknown reasons. um, and you have to totally annihilate the town of villagers. And these are people like just wielding pitchforks and like shovels. Like you totally just annihilate the town. And I kind of felt bad. I'm like the story's not leading me to want to do this. Like no motivation for this. So I was just wondering why I was totally
It
wiping
it
these people out.
it didn't explain at all?
No.
Hmm.
So it was, it needed further expansion in certain aspects of the game. Um, if you're a tactics really mega fan, but just the story is just and you're not big on story, I don't know. I'd hold off on this one. It's just the gameplay itself is just okay. There are traps on like because you're set up on tiles, right? Just like the older Fire Emblems, and there are traps littered throughout. There's no way to detect these traps. You just run into them as you're walking. There's like no trap sensibilities or anything of that nature. There's no characters that have certain trap like higher trap sensing. So you run into these traps that will either make you bleed, they'll put poison on you. I think there's one other status condition, and these traps are just randomly everywhere. So you're just constantly running into them, having to hit yourself of these conditions. I don't know. I would personally I would hold off. There's got to be better games out there for you to spend your money on. in my opinion.
Oh man.
So I finished that. Now I'm currently playing Luna, Sentinel of the Shards. It's kind of a top-down isometric Diablo-esque. It's got the the tiered loot kind of system. It's based off of a comic book, and I don't want to get it wrong, but somewhere in Latin America, I'm not entirely sure. But it's based off of that, and the I'm about halfway through it. So I'm about 10 hours in, and um it's not really, the story is very generic. Go here, go get that shard, go here, go get that shard, and that's very much in the beginning, so I'm not spoiling anything. So it's really kind of generic. It points you in the direction, you go to get it, go get the thing, go get the other thing, go get the other thing. That's
And kill everything along the way.
Yeah, enemies are really kind of sparse. They're very far apart. The enemy sensing, or like, you can basically just getting, if you're a range character, which I am in this one, it just so happens to work this way, that if you get an enemy basically on the outer rim of the screen and you're a range character, you can totally kill the enemy without them even ever knowing you're there. So the enemies just
Wow.
they just, you need better recognition on that.
So
The
their detection or
Yeah,
awareness.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really kind of poor. And then they, I not that this is a bad thing, because there's a lot of games that do it. Like, if you're in combat with an enemy and you just run far enough away where they just go right back to where they were. They do not heal. They don't regenerate their health. You go back to them, and their health is at the same level it was.
Yeah.
Um, the skills are kind of, they need work. It kind of works in three different trees. So you have your melee skill tree, you have your ranged skill tree, and then you have your magic skill tree. Um I don't know. It does the kind of like the basic kind of stuff, increase critical hit, critical damage. At first, you need to unlock your skills, so you're unlocking skills at first with your X, B, all the different face buttons. That's generally how they're wanting you to play it, right? Or unlock your skill tree. So you're getting all these new skills, and then you're unlocking your multipliers and whatnot. Again, kind of typical RPG kind of stuff. So there's that aspect of it, but again, the frame rate is really. I'm not one. Again, if you've listened to me at all in this podcast, I am not a frame rate snob. I really am not. But there's something with this game. It almost looks like they're going in slow motion. But they're not. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's the frame rate, and it almost makes me nauseous at times. I think it's the combination of that and how close I am sitting to my screen, where it almost makes me motion sick. I'm
Yeah,
not sh- I'm not sure
that
what it is, but
it's the frame rate. If you're getting motion sick and stuff like that, yeah, it's got to be the frame rate.
yeah. So I honestly, I don't know how long I can play it because of that. It's just kind of it's making me physically ill. It's just making me kind of dizzy, and I think it's a combination of me kind of sitting too close to my playing the view. But again, that's just the only way I can do it. So I don't know. I think I might be done on that. I might have to call that one kind of short. I just think there's might be better stuff out there that to take up my time. So yeah, that's a Luna Sentinel of the Shards. I was really excited to play this because, again, it has that tiered loot, and it does that pretty good. It's got a lot of really a diverse set of weapons. There's a lot of different melee weapons, a lot of different range weapons, and kind of your staffs and stuff for magic type of stuff. So it's got a really kind of diverse thing. It's diversity in that, but I don't know. It just kind of misses the ARPG mark for me. I'd hold off. I am looking forward to a few things. There's a couple of games that I want to get. One is Pathway. This would, I think, be right up your alley, actually.
Oh yeah.
This is a Chucklefish game. It's set up in the I want to say it's in the 40s, I think. Supposedly, like, it's like during World War II, but it's a kind of your tactics type of game. This is recently released as well. Another game that I'm surprised you didn't mention it, I think you kind of wanted to mention, because you're the one who brought it up to me, was Griftlands. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you had mentioned this, that it was coming out of early access. So I'm like, all right, it's on Steam. If anything, consoles won't see it for a while, and then the Switch won't see it for like another while. Early access ended like not even last week, and this is coming out on the 4th on the Switch, on all the consoles actually.
Yep.
So we'll be getting to play this. I know I am really thinking about getting it. And I don't know if we went into detail as to what it is, but it's kind of like a deck building roguelike turn-based battle game. And the art
Uh,
and the artwork looks really, really
More than
cool.
just that, though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely more than just that. But I mean, at its core, right? It's your turn-based card battle, right? Am I wrong in that?
Yes.
I am wrong in that.
No, no, no. You're right on that. It is those things.
Yeah, and it's got like relationships and it's got like a ton of things. It's really kind of packed with stuff. Um,
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways is its I guess its dialogue system will create very different and meaningful consequences to your decisions.
mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so that is coming out on the 4th, so I'm kind of happy about that. Now, another game I do like my ARPGs, my action RPGs is Dark Alliance, the newest one that came out. I think it's Baldur's Gate Dark
yep,
Alliance.
Baldur's Gate, yep.
And I was really hoping I'm gonna be kind of sw- uh you know a snob here. I was hoping for a review code, because it is $30, and I'm just at the point right now where I'm like I kind of don't want to be spending money right now, and I was hoping to get a review code, but they've been ignoring me
Ooh,
for like a month. Like I was in it to win it. I was with them from the very beginning, before the delay, after their delay, and they've ignored me. And
it
I know I'm not the only one. They've not ignored, but I mean I'm sure they're probably very busy. Um, but I
it
know I'm
might
not
have
the
been
only
held
one.
up. It might have been held up because of the development issues that they had with the Switch version.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe
but the game's out now. I mean, there's no excuse at this point. At this point, I could just buy it, but and I may do that. I may do that. That is those are kind of the three games I'm looking forward to maybe getting in the near future. But there's a lot going on. Let's get into the news. Holy cow. We've been in this for almost 40 minutes and we have not even gotten into the news section.
oh
Let's
my god.
let's get into this quick. As we discussed, Griftlands exits early access on PC, releases on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on June 4th. We've kind of just went over that. Um, Metal Max Xeno Reborn is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Excuse me, next year in the West. Are you familiar with the Metal Max series?
No, I'm not. I did look at it briefly,
Hmm.
and I guess it's like a tank RPG,
Yeah,
post-apocalyptic tank RPG type thing.
right.
It's weird. It's got the JRPG tag on it, which is also weird. I don't know if it's turn-based or real-time combat.
It
Uh,
looks like it is real time, but again, I'm not very familiar with the Metal Max series, so I
yeah,
I don't know.
I
But
I don't know either, but it is something that came out of nowhere, kind of.
mm-hmm. Next, then we have Ni no Kuni 2. This was finally confirmed. We had gone over a rumor that it was rated by the ESRB. It's now confirmed that it's coming out September 17th. And this is the Prince's Edition that is coming out. So it's including all the DLC and whatnot. So there are two different camps, right? Some prefer Ni no Kuni 1, Ni no Kuni, and some prefer Ni no Kuni 2. Some like the story in Ni no Kuni 1, some like the combat in Ni no Kuni 2. So if they could just blend those two aspects together and make a new Ni no Kuni 3, that'd be great. All right, Monster Hunter Rise version 3.0 update available now. New trailer for the Monster Hunter Stories also was revealed. They've been just, I mean, I feel like we can do an episode every single time and include Monster Hunter news. This game is just constantly getting update after update after update. What's new? We did go over what was coming in the version 3.0. Did we not last time?
No, we didn't. I mean, it's a smaller package than what came out in the 2.0 update, but it's still pretty substantial. It's at least one new big monster, which was Valstrax.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there's new takes on existing monsters, new Apex versions that are also available to combat. There's some new armor sets, some new weapon sets, skills to go along with it. The rampage weapons have you can cosmetically change them up so that they look like something else. And there's new quests and galore across the board, all the different sort of variants of the questing, as well as a definitive ending quest
All right.
or urgent. It might be a series of quests. I don't know because I haven't actually fired up the 3.0 update. Uh, but there is a definitive end, another credit roll to give resolution to that, and officially bookend the Monster Hunter Rise game, unless
Unless.
unless they also announced that there is a roadmap for future updates that are going to come out for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see that just before Monster Hunter Stories comes out.
Yep.
I think that's you'll be seeing that closer to then. Because these two they're integrating them a little bit more. You got costumes from one, from each title, things of that nature. You got monsters coming in from each thing as well. So I think that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for, I think the Monster Hunter Stories 2 comes out. When is that? The end of July?
Uh, let's see here. Mid June. No, beginning of June.
Beginning of
No, we're in June. Sorry.
yes.
Uh,
July 9th. So beginning
July
of
9th.
July.
Yes.
It's coming
There
out.
we go.
So yeah, I think maybe around the beginning of like July 1st or the end of this month, you'll start seeing a roadmap to whether it's 4.0 or whatever, if they're
No,
offering
they released it.
4.0.
No, the roadmap.
Oh, they did. I
Yeah,
am
yeah. So what the roadmap is, it's going to be updated to version 3.1
okay.
somewhere in mid June, which is middle of this month,
Right.
and end of June. So what's coming
Right.
out mid this month is the layered armor from Monster Hunter Stories, um, and some for the end of June. There's some DLC content and events, but that's the big take is the 3.1 version update, which means it's not a 4.0, right? This is all of these updates are going to be smaller than what you would normally expect.
Right. And
So
that
in July,
mm-hmm.
the end of July, there's going to be a 3.2 update, which is more DLC, the second version of the Capcom collaboration. So it's more crossover between my guess, more crossover between Monster Hunter Stories 2 and Monster Hunter Rise. There'll be some additional event quests, but the event quests aren't they're just additional quests. They're not going to be major things. So I wouldn't look to those to be major. Like for example, a new monster. I wouldn't expect a new monster to be introduced during the event quest. The DLC, once again, probably will be lucky if it introduces a new monster. I doubt it will. So, and then at the end of August is version 3.3 update, which is essentially the final collab, as far as we know. The Capcom Collab 3, some more DLC, and more event quests. So none of them mention any new monsters. None of them mention new gear or weapons or anything like that. So it's going to be mostly like event quests and probably like I don't know, cosmetic
Yeah.
DLC type stuff.
I
So
think I think once Monster Hunter Stories 2 comes out, they'll add more to this roadmap.
maybe what I think they're doing now that the 3.0 update is done, they're either prepping for a substantial close to the end of year kind of like a reminder update before like the Game of the Year nominees and stuff like that get assessed.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of like 4.0 update, perhaps in like October or November, or they are just doing up to version 3.3, give or take. Maybe they'll do a 3.4 or something like that. But keeping each of these updates just a little minor. And then early next year, they drop the announcement of some Monster Hunter Rise Iceborne edition or whatever it is,
What?
Volcano Born.
Whoa. Throw an Iceborne edition in there.
Yeah, Fireborn. There we go. That's what I should say. Fireborn.
All
Monster
right.
Hunter Rise, Fireborn.
It just works. It just works.
Yeah.
Like I said, we could talk Monster Hunter every single week. There's always something going on. All right, so next we have Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass bonus is the ancient armor and or sword. I can't really imagine, unless you're new coming into this, I can't imagine replaying this or even continuing uh to complete that map. There was just way too much. So I don't know. Maybe the new expansion or whatever it is they're doing will bring people back, but I
Uh,
I don't know, man.
I, so they do say what the wave 1 and wave 2
Mm-hmm.
is over here. It just none of it looks exciting.
No, Wave One available June 2021, so it's coming out very shortly. Expanded
They'll probably
roster,
announce it at E3
right?
during the presentation.
Yeah, expanded roster, newly added weapons, new challenges in the Royal Ancient Lab, newly added challenging enemies.
Like
Oh,
none of those things, other than the new enemies. None of those. I mean, the expanded roster maybe,
yeah.
but even that's like, eh.
I think that could potentially be one of the things that kind of hurt Hyrule Warriors, where the variety of enemies, maybe.
Yeah.
So
Well, the variety and also the similarity of what was already there, because
yeah,
engaging one enemy is kind of the same as engaging pretty much all the others.
right. So again, newly added challenging enemies. And then Wave 2, November 2021, new character vignettes, newly added
Uh,
stages, expanded roster, new battle skills for existing characters.
yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
that's obviously a bigger add-on, but still, I don't know. This is great for players that are just going into it. This is excellent for them because they're going in at it and they have a lot of added content. Granted, they're paying a little more upfront for it because of the added cost of getting a DLC, but
I don't think
will this bring players back? I don't know.
it's definitely not going to bring players back. I think it might sustain people who are still playing
Yep. Yeah, if you're in the process or maybe just about to get into it. Yeah.
because this is not a free update, so it's not going to bring anyone back. If
It,
people
it,
tapped out of Hyrule Warriors, either they tapped out because they finished it and they were content and done, or they tapped out because it was they either finished it, didn't finish it because it kind of got, for me it got monotonous.
yeah. Yeah, they'd obviously have to buy back into it, so
Yeah, the
yeah.
buyback end.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that. All right, next we have Ubisoft praises sales performance of Immortals Phoenix Rising on the Nintendo Switch. This is actually great news. I love seeing the sales numbers and then the Nintendo Switch version just kind of dominating that. Uh,
yeah,
I love seeing that. So, Immortals Phoenix Rise, which launched on multiple platforms late last year, was met with favorable reactions from fans and critics alike. The new IP from Ubisoft provided players with a brand new world to traverse. For the most part, it provides an excellent experience on the Nintendo Switch. It seems, though, Ubisoft is particularly happy about its sales performance on the Nintendo's latest console, with Chief Financial Officer Frederick Duguet, maybe
yeah.
Duguet. I don't know. Highlighting the
It's
Switch. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't want to butcher it anymore. Highlighting the Switch platform specifically in the latest financial call that happened last week. So yeah, the sales are now. I don't actually have the numbers. I would love to see the actual numbers. I might have to click some of these sources. But yeah, it like I said, it's really awesome seeing when a game is multi-platform, and they're happy with this because especially with a big publisher developer like Ubisoft, that means potentially more third-party support, and it means good things for Nintendo Switch RPG
And they're
peoples.
giving it the key word in here is they're calling it an evergreen title,
Yeah.
which is something that usually is only for Nintendo titles are evergreen. There's very few games just on any console that are evergreen like Nintendo titles. So the fact that they're calling it an evergreen is a very good sign.
Now, what does the evergreen mean?
It just keeps selling. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
normally the game's biggest sales in the first week or 2 of its release, and then the sales declines exponentially down. So it kinda just, like, nosedives, and then it plateaus, very, very low plateau, and it might get and it plateaus to a very almost flatlining, where it'll get like maybe 100 sales on a weekly basis. And then every now and then, if there's some sort of like big sale or big promotion, marketing push, or what have you, it might get a spike. But even the spike doesn't even come close to the initial first two
Sure.
weeks. The first 2 weeks are always monstrous.
Yeah.
However, if it's an evergreen, the fall and sort of that sharp decline isn't as sharp, and the sort of set level for it to plateau isn't set so low. And when it starts to dip up again and starts to get a steady incline of increasing sales, that's when you know you definitively have an evergreen, because not only has it plateaued at its bottom, it hit its bottom weeks earlier,
Mm-hmm.
it's now selling at a better rate than it did a week ago, 2 weeks ago, etc. And what that means is word of mouth
Yeah.
is getting around, and the quality of the game is getting around such that other people are getting enticed to play it.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I think where this game is really kind of why it's selling is word of mouth. Um, I feel like it's one of those games that are constantly getting recommended when you're looking in kind of like say our Discord server or even some Facebook groups that I'm a part of. This is typically one if you're into Breath of the Wild or a lot of open world type of RPGs. This is one that definitely gets recommended by a lot of people. So yeah, like I said, it's good to see, and it's nice to see some third party support and praise. And I think this was a title that was released multi platform on the same day, including the Switch, which we haven't been seeing. So that's a good thing. All right, Konami looking to outsource development of older games and back catalog. Yeah, right. This can't be true.
And by older, the example they gave was a game called Getsu Fuma Din.
My point freaking exactly. Konami cannot get out of their own way. Like they don't even look at titles like I don't know, like Castlevania or Suikoden. Vandal Hearts is another one that comes to mind. They look at games like Getsu Fumaden.
Yeah. Silent Hill, right?
Yeah, well, I was sticking with RPGs, but yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to see our Silent Hill. But I wouldn't even trust Konami to pick a right third party developer. So you know what, Konami, just just make your Super Bomberman R, whatever.
Yeah. I'm just cross my fingers. If this means that Castlevania and Silent Hill and Suikoden, etc., if this means that like fans that have been chomping at the bit to make a license of to develop a licensed version of the game,
Mm-hmm.
like let the fans the fans will do a way better job than Konami ever will. So
Sure.
just
Yeah.
give it to them.
Yeah. And I thought like with the popularity of the recent game that was on Kickstarter, Eiyuden Chronicles, which
Yep.
is kind of the spiritual successor of Suikoden. I thought with the success of that Konami would see that and potentially want to revive that series, and I don't think so. I have no faith in them. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Axiom Verge 2 has been delayed again. Release date now, Q3 2021. So potentially fall, I guess maybe July, September. So I guess there's a 25-minute documentary via IGN, so you can take a look at it there. I don't know if this is still being developed by one person.
Uh, I, uh,
Thomas Happ.
yeah, I met the dude. I talked with him, played his game. The
Yeah,
game's excellent, just absolutely excellent. The first one, so I'm totally looking forward to this sequel. I don't know if it's he certainly made enough money to hire people to take on
yeah.
for the second go at it. So we'll find out. I mean, it might be easily Googleable to find out if he's flying solo again. I can't imagine he is.
Yeah, I would think he'd get some help here, but either way, it is being delayed. We did get some Pokemon news. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for the Nintendo Switch coming the 19th of November. Okay. Um, seems pretty understandable, but we have Pokemon Legends Arceus coming 28th of January. That is really coming up quick.
Yeah,
And
that
you don't think that's happening. You're thinking it's going to be delayed.
yeah.
Um,
Unless they surprise us at E3 coming up soon, or for some other event with updated presentation video of how the game is and runs,
yeah.
is not coming out at the beginning of January next year. No way. Or end of January
Yeah,
next year.
typically Pokemon handles their own Pokemon Direct, so I think it's unlikely you'll see this in a Nintendo. I mean, you could, especially with E3 coming up. You could see it in Nintendo Direct, but typically it's Pokemon that handles this. And you're right, the last time we saw this, it did not look that good. I do remember reading somewhere. I don't remember where it was. It could have been on Twitter. I don't know where it was. That the footage they were using was on a very early build. And I think you mentioned it. If it's on a very early build and it looks ugly, don't show it.
Yeah.
And they did.
And they
They just said, you know what, send it, and they did. It did not look the greatest, and I think the concept is there. I'm digging the concept of Pokemon because I really like the fact that they're thinking outside of the box. It's
what
not there.
concept?
Well, it's kind of your open. It feels like it's an open world game. It's not your,
I
tip.
don't know. Is it? Like they didn't really show much.
It felt like an open world game.
I think your imagination's running wild.
I
Like
guess you're right.
they needed to show more. It could be open world.
Okay,
It seems like it might be, but we don't really know. There could be, for all we know, there could be some very frustrating invisible walls in those areas.
sure. Yep, you're right. You're right. I guess time will tell. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
But hopefully it looks better. Yeah, but coming out January, or the release date or planned release date is January 28th, and that did surprise a lot of people,
yeah.
especially
This
because you mentioned it the way it looked.
yeah, this is a big deal because we have two remakes of two major Pokemon games coming out for the holidays this year. This
Hmm.
is Diamond and Pearl, right? Nothing. These are not minuscule Pokemon games, and these are remakes. They're getting spruced up graphics. I might be using the term remake a little bit too strongly, but it definitely looks better. In a what was it, like the Hey Let's Go Pikachu,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's getting like that kind of level of graphical fidelity to it. So that's a big thing, right? To bring those Pokemon games to consoles is a big deal. And then just what, 2 months later, yeah, a little bit more than 2 months later, we're gonna get a major Pokemon game. The proximity of those two just doesn't make sense. I think they're gonna push Pokemon Legends to the next holiday, the holiday season of 2022.
Wow. That's like far away.
It is far, far away, but I think they need to. And I
Yeah.
hope they do, unless they show footage otherwise.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. Unless they do it beginning of their quarter, maybe it'll be March, a March title. we'll have to wait and see. All right, next we have Atelier Ryza and Atelier Ryza 2 free costumes are now available. So you will have to download those in a special DLC. I think they're on the eShop. They're free. I don't know what they look like, but
It's celebrating its 1 million shipped units um, type of thing. So it's a free
okay.
update with that. The one costume's called the White Lily of Summer, and the other one's called High Summer Formal.
I see it. Yep, I'm watching them right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna retweet them because I totally missed this.
Yeah, it's a nice, happy little free update
Yeah.
for celebrating a major milestone, right?
A major
Now,
milestone on a game that no one would expect them to sell this much. Try finding a physical copy of the original Atelier Ryza. It's near impossible. It's very, very expensive right now. All right, Rumorland. Rumorland.
ooh.
Former Shin Megami Tensei staff to reveal a new title on the 10th of June. So coming up in just over a week. And this is, what are they calling it? Let me just pull this up here. A group of former Shin Megami Tensei and Megami Tensei developers and music staff have gotten together to create a brand new title, which they are set to unveil on June 10th. The team says that this new school RPG was teased in the latest edition of Japanese gaming magazine Weekly Famitsu, which is available now. Jamatsu reports that the publisher, developer, and platforms were not announced. So we'll be getting something in just over a week. This is not a rumor. Something is happening.
Yeah,
Something is happening.
something. They got is the quotes is the quotes signifying that new school RPG means it's a school RPG, kind of like Persona,
I don't.
or
I'm
or does the
thinking.
quotes with new school mean it's like it's a new take on RPG?
I
It's
think
like
it's a.
something new.
I'm hoping it means that because typically aren't they turn based? So I think when they say new school, they mean a different form of combat. So it could potentially be an action combat oriented game.
I don't think so. I think this is going to be a school RPG,
Oh,
kind of like Persona.
okay.
I think it's going to be something like that. Also, what was that mech game I played from Vanillaware that I really, really like? Really good.
13 Sentinels?
13 Sentinels. So
Yeah.
that would fall under the realm of
School?
not school RPG, not entirely because you're not really doing any school gameplay mechanics there, but
Yep. Okay. Well, time will tell. That will be on June 10th.
you,
Um, all right. Another rumor: Genshin Impact delay due to Switch, apparently not being able to handle their game. Nintendo
well,
Switch owners are still waiting to find out when the entertaining free-to-play action JRPG Genshin Impact will arrive on the system. It's available right now on PlayStation, iOS, Android, and PC, though the Switch version is missing in action. Genshin leaker Genshin Report states on Twitter that the development team are having issues due to hardware limitations on the Switch platform. Even on smartphones, you need a decent phone to get it running on the developers intended as the developers intended. So I don't know. It's said to it says here that the Genshin report says the game is still currently scheduled to arrive later this year. I don't know.
yeah, you know it. There's been lots of other rumors of hardware that may be up to snuff to run Genshin Impact. It is a good looking game,
Yeah,
so
but I mean, they kind of buried my point. That I was going to make was that it runs on phones. So, and I've spoken to other developers, and they state that the Switch's hardware is inferior to some phones that are out there. So this kind of does make some sense to me. Kind of.
well, not
Kind of.
not by a large degree. I mean, you got to also remember phones are typically 3 times or 4 times the price of a Switch.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't doubt that some phones are running better than the Switch, but I think the big thing is they're probably waiting. They probably heard, a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever, that there is going to be an inevitable Super Switch Pro, whatever version, a souped up Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, they just decided to wait for that release instead of trying to, uh,
Force
w-
something out there and have it
yeah,
run poorly, and
exactly.
yeah, they don't want that bad PR, and I don't blame them. But yeah, and I've done an interview with Jason over at oh shoot, I can't remember the developer's name for Genshin Impact, and I reached out to try and get a follow-up interview, and he just said that they have nothing new to add. So unfortunately, that is kind of where we're at with that. We're just waiting. So maybe after E3 we'll have some answers, and I'm actually hoping that this will be one of their this will be something in the E3 presentation. But all right, what else do we have? Bloodstained Ritual of the Night might be getting a sequel, according to some documents. You seem happy about this.
Oh yeah, super happy.
All right, Digital Bros, the parent company of 505 Games, today listed a corporate overview presentation going over the publisher's recent fiscal year. In a slide discussing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, the presentation originally mentioned a second version in development. The presentation has since been updated to remove the mention of second version. Uh-oh. So yeah, it's basically a slide, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, latest creation of Koji Igarashi, the former series producer of the Castlevania franchise, worldwide, and kind of it's a bulleted list, so it's got a high Metacritic score average, more than 1 million copies sold, expected lifetime revenue at 30 million, and second version in development. So
Yeah, I
they've
mean,
again they've since removed it,
it,
but
I
yeah.
can't imagine it having all that big of a budget, development budget.
Hmm.
It was very successful on Kickstarter. It I mean, as you just read, right? It sold over 1 million units. It's more than we were just praising Atelier Ryza, and it took 2 games for it to sell over 1 million. And Bloodstain Ritual Night itself sold over 1 million.
Yeah.
Like a sequel to this game is a no-brainer. Everyone wants it. Bloodstain was fantastic. Igarashi is back, and he wants to make more games because that guy owns an awesome hat and lots of whips. So
I will say though that they need to find a better porting studio, whomever did it for the Switch, if they are going to do that, because the initial Switch launch was absolutely terrible. So
yeah.
please, should I put that in their bulleted list? Can I add to their list?
They'll get it right.
All right, I hope so.
They'll do it right.
I really hope so. All right, let's see some Dragon Quest news. There was kind of a Dragon Quest presentation. A lot of stuff was announced there, but we're gonna highlight a couple of things. First being Dragon Quest 12, kind of got the Metroid Prime 4 treatment. if you
Kinda.
if you know what I mean. Basically, they actually I'm sorry, they actually gave a little bit more information than Metroid Prime 4. Um, so this is on RPGFan.com. Dragon Quest 12 Flames of Fate has been announced. It feels like we've been living in an era of Dragon Quest 11 for years. First released on the PS4, 3DS, and PC in Japan in 2007. The game made its journey overseas in 2018, followed by the worldwide release of Dragon Quest 11S Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch and subsequently on other consoles.
You said 2007. What you meant to say was 2017.
2017. I Yes, thank you. Um,
1 decade later.
a whole deck. That's a long time. So yeah, basically what happened was throughout the Dragon Quest presentation. Was this their last thing? I think it might have been. It's essentially just a logo reveal. So that's what I mean when I say the Metroid Prime 4 treatment. It was basically a logo reveal, but they did provide a little bit more information. And I'm trying to see if it's in this article. I'm not entirely seeing it, but they did mention the fact that it's more adult themed or something to that effect. Um,
Uh, if we can base it on the logo, it's questionable because they did the number, right? The 12 number
Hmm.
in like fire, magma, fire carved into earth, it looks like dark earth. And
Yep.
that definitely looks like something that could be more mature. But then they have the logo of Dragon Quest hovering in front of it, and that looks like a little cartoony, kind of like something that's straight out of Dragon Ball.
Well,
I mean, Dragon Ball
that
had,
is their logo, but it's just in stone. So they have the same
right,
logo. If you look at their entire from
but
almost the very
it's different.
beginning.
It's different between the art styles are different between the two.
Okay,
The foreground
I get
Dragon Quest
I get what you're
art
saying.
style is slightly, Dragon Ball-esque, anime-esque, and then the numbers behind it looks like it's rendered in a 3D renderer, trying to get more realistic on the
Right.
visual side of it.
So here it is. Series creator Yuri Hori himself informed the event's audience that this is Dragon Quest uh, aimed at adults with more mature content and need
Ooh.
for players to make an important narrative decision that could change the course of the story.
What?
So I'm not sure. It's in that same article that I have linked here. So
Yeah.
this is basically a little bit of change for them. So I don't know if that's in terms of art style. I would think so. But again, definitely in some of the decisions you're making in here. This game is very far away. I don't think we're even close to seeing gameplay at this point. But
Those words have me excited.
yeah. Dragon Quest series trademark command-based battle system will be going through major changes, Hori added. So even the battle system is going to get tweaked here.
Oh, no way. No
Yeah.
way.
There's,
There's no way they're gonna change Dragon Quest. I don't believe it.
that's what he
I
said.
don't believe it.
They said it, not me.
The game that never changes, and they're claiming they're gonna change it. No way.
I don't believe it.
This is
Well,
insane. If they do that, that's a big deal. That's beyond a big deal.
oh, it is a very big deal.
They're making it for adults, and they're changing the battle
Well,
system.
if
That
you
is like blow your mind. That
it,
doesn't happen in Dragon
right,
Quest.
but if you watch the presentation, there were a lot of games geared towards a younger audience there. So
Yeah.
I think they have them covered. But again, this is definitely a change from what they normally do. So one good change, big change, Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake announced with a planned worldwide release. So this is not just going to the the West and or East then coming to the West. It's none of that. This is everybody's getting it at the same time. Everybody gets their piece of the pie. During today's Dragon Quest 35th anniversary special live stream, Square Enix announced a surprising new Dragon Quest III remake, aptly titled Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. As detailed in the title itself, this upcoming reimagining appears to utilize the same engine art style as Octopath Traveler and the upcoming Project Triangle Strategy. What a name! I love it. It arguably became the surprise of the show, despite being sandwiched between the expected light tease of Dragon Quest XII and the resurfacing of the newly titled Dragon Quest Treasures. We're not going to go into detail with Dragon Quest Treasures, but I mean,
It's a spin-off.
yeah. So we're talking HD 2D. This is the game that we apply this to like everything, right? Oh, I'd love to see this game, but in HD 2D. So yeah, they're going in it to win it with here. They kind of own that trademark. Is that what it's called? HD 2D. So they can pretty much do it. They can
Yeah,
call it.
they coined it that term, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you have other games doing it at this point. It's just caught on
But
that graphical art style.
those are all Square games, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, we seem to pin that on every remake. Like, oh, I want to see Final Fantasy VI, but in this art style. Of course, why wouldn't we, right? So, during the stream, Quest boss Yuji Horii made joking, candid comments about possible re-release of Dragon Quest One and Two in a similar style, but those have not been actually announced. So there are plans of them redoing this in the same style for Dragon Quest One and Two. And again, this is a worldwide release, so everybody going to be getting this.
yeah. And this is a this is a full blown remake
Yeah.
because this is not. They say here, right? Dragon Quest III was released on the NES back in 88, 1988.
Oh man, don't you wish you could go back in time?
No,
No.
no, not
Okay.
not during those times for an RPG.
Oh no.
And just just by remaking it, especially in this engine, which takes two, yeah, there's a lot of 2D sprites here and there, but it's in a 3D world. That is a big change. This is going to be a substantial remake
Yeah.
and overhaul of the game. I'm hoping they also touch up the gameplay. I think they obviously have to, but it's Dragon Quest, and I'm gonna hold my breath and then release it because yeah, don't hold your breath. Dragon Quest.
But I mean, what they were showing looks really really good. So I think it'll be fine.
It looks beautiful.
It looks very cool. All right. So yeah, Dragon Quest 3. Right. Now we're gonna get into a little bit of hardware stuff. I think we're gonna be seeing stuff coming out very soon with information on this. Maybe even actually seeing this not in stores, but on the storefronts. Bloomberg reports upgraded Switch model announcement imminent. Console launching September/October 2021. That is coming up really, really fast. And that's what really surprised me because, especially with all the chip shortages and all that stuff, for them to keep up with stuff like this, I don't know. I don't know. As a big gaming industry event approaches, we're just talking about E3, Bloomberg is reporting that the news of an upgraded Nintendo Switch console is about to drop. The publication is stating, thanks to sources familiar with the matter, Nintendo will be assembling the new model as early as July. And the improved console is set to hit shelves between September and October of this year. Interestingly, it is also mentioned that the new Switch Pro is set to supersede the current original model at some point, and we can expect the Switch we know to be eventually phased out, which I guess kind of makes sense. They wouldn't want the old ones kind of just sitting around for no reason. But yeah, we've gone over this with a lot of different rumors, OLED screens, 4K capabilities, not rendering, but output 4K, that's that sort of stuff. I just honestly, OLED is nice. I'm not a handheld player, so it doesn't really affect me. 4K, I do play in my screen. Again, 4K is nice. I just want it 1080. Okay, give me a solid frame rate, 1080, no problems, running smooth. I'm happy. If they can do that, I think they got themselves a customer here. But OLED, again, nice feature. Definitely nice feature. That's not what's going to sell me. I
A
gotta see.
bigger screen, slightly bigger screen,
Yeah,
right? An
slightly bigger
image.
screen. But again, I'm not a handheld player.
Well,
That's just
it.
me.
I mean, I constantly switch between. I am the hybrid player. I mean, the Switch was made for me. I use it handheld. I use it on docked. Um, I prefer docked, but
Hmm.
when that just having that capability to do handheld on demand is really really good.
Right.
And some games play really perfectly fine. The only issue that's actually holding me back on the handheld side is the silly Joy-Con drift.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a problem, isn't
It
it?
is a problem. Yes, it is. Now there are there's we said this earlier off air where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's the fire here, so there's a whole lot of smoke because there is multiple sources backing these up. I don't think we need to touch on any of these sources. I mean, Eurogamer, Amazon listings, other people in the industry that's fairly credible, all sort of come into the same universal agreement that in a announcement of the Switch, Super Switch, Switch Pro, whatever it's going to be called, is imminent. One big thing that is kind of new that we haven't heard before is the fact that the new dock that comes with this updated Switch could potentially have an Ethernet adapter built into it.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Thank you. I mean, I have I have like this dongle that I just use, right? It works fine.
Yeah,
But I
I have
mean,
that same USB dongle too.
yeah, so again, having that built in, yeah, why not, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Other things that I would love for this to happen: Bluetooth audio. That would be another thing. That would be kind of great. I would probably play a little bit more handheld if it had Bluetooth. That way, I could just have a headset on and play. But yeah, or chat even. Wireless chat. That would be awesome.
Instead of the phone app
The
that
phone.
they updated to whatever it is, 11.0 or whatever.
Oh, you have that app?
No, I don't use it. Of course I don't. That thing is garbage.
Oh, it's
But
absolutely
they're
garbage. I mean,
updating it.
granted, the Switch doesn't have many games that utilizes chat, but I mean, it'd be nice for the games that it does to be able to just party up and chat. Especially in RPGs. I feel like some of that's important. A lot of the Fortnites and all these other games, the free to play games, Rocket Leagues, things like that. Makes sense.
Yeah. I guess the big sort of this all makes sense, right? The fire of the smoke
Hmm.
on all this is the fact that just E3 new games are going to get announced. There's the potential, and this is in some of the rumors out there that some of these new games that are going to get announced for the Switch can't run on the existing Switch, or the footage that's going to be shown is running on the updated Switch.
Right.
So either they're going to announce the new Switch sometime between now and E3, or they're going to announce it. If they do announce it at E3, it's got to be at the very start of the show, because then they'll follow it with here.
Right.
By the way, here's the new visuals of the new game announcements
Right.
that are going to run on the whatever the new Switch is.
All right. Let's just assume this thing's happening, right? What are we calling it? What do you want it to be called?
Uh, New. I think the new thing is what they're gonna do because they've used it so many times before across multiple consoles, right? They used it for the DS, the
Hmm.
3DS, and the Switch is pretty handheld to me, so they might
Okay.
use it again for the Switch.
Man, that Super Switch really kind of just makes me reminisce and reminds me of the best console Nintendo's ever made, the Super Nintendo.
So that's my guess on what they're going to call it,
Hmm.
according to information that everyone collectively knows. But me knowing Nintendo and how unpredictable they are, I think they're going to come up with a name. They'll still have Switch in the title somewhere, but they'll call it something else that no one ever even thought of.
Switch NX. What that was their project name before, right?
Uh,
NX. Yeah.
no, I think the NX was something else. Was
Mm,
that the Switch?
yeah, it was a Switch.
It wasn't like Cafe or something like that.
Nope. It was NX.
Project Cafe.
No. Project Cafe.
Yeah.
No, it was NX.
What?
Google it. Look at this.
Google
I'm
it.
looking at Eurogamer.net. Nintendo NX is a portable console with detachable controllers.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the
I could have
NX.
sworn the NX was PlayStation's new console, new
No,
handheld
no.
before it became Vita.
Nintendo had NX. Xbox had Project Scorpio.
All right, then what is Project Cafe?
Mm.
Because Project Cafe was something.
I think you're making it up. It's fine. It's fine.
No,
It's cool.
Project Cafe was totally something.
It was nothing. How's your Google machine working for you?
Apparently not. Let me just do Project Cafe Nintendo.
Nothing.
Or that was something. Ah, aha, the Wii U.
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about going back in time? Let's
The
go
Wii
back to
U is Project Cafe.
let's go to that forgettable console. Anyway, moving on to our final topic here. Nintendo's E3 2021. They finally announced this actually today, June 2nd. It's going to be taking place Tuesday, June 15th, and it's 40 minutes long, and it's going to be focused exclusively on Switch games, mainly. This is weird that the way they put it, right? So tune in at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for a Nintendo Direct presentation featuring roughly 40 minutes of information focused exclusively on Nintendo Switch games, mainly releasing in 2021. Immediately following the direct, you're gonna have your treehouse that they typically do, your treehouse live.
Yep.
So yeah, mostly 2021 games, which is that I think is I mean, they've said that before, but I think that's a big deal, right? There's 6 months left, so they have a lot to pack in here for games that are coming out in the 6 months. So you're seeing all the games that were delayed for this past year. They're coming out. This is great
Yep.
stuff. Great
There,
stuff.
there, there is a fairly substantial gap for stuff coming out this year. Now we do have a lot of stuff that we know that's coming out this year. I'd say we're in a better spot of knowing what is potentially coming up this year than what we did sort of this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's definitely, as I said, there's still more that they need to announce because there's gaping holes for that these announcements we're expecting to fill up. So,
Right. In terms of what Nintendo has to offer for games coming up, you'll have Mario Golf. I think that's obviously that's a Nintendo exclusive. You have some
yep,
Pokemons coming up, which we did discuss earlier today. I'm
yep,
trying to think of anything else Nintendo has coming
yeah.
up. I don't
Uh,
think there's any. They got nothing.
they got nothing. Yeah,
They got
there are anniversaries that they are grossly mishandling.
um, mishandling or just ignoring, or I don't even know what they're doing with it.
One is being ignored, the other one's being mishandled.
When you say Metroid is being ignored, or
Yeah,
Zelda is being ignored.
Zelda's being mishandled. Metroid's being ignored,
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right there. Zelda does have Skyward Sword coming out. Um, not
and it's got DLC, and
yeah.
it's got the was it Joy Cons or unique Joy Cons
Joy Cons, Amiibo. It's got
console.
yeah. It's getting a lot of stuff.
Zelda's. I mean, it's not what you would want, but at least
That's
it's getting
that's how,
something.
that's how we're gonna celebrate the 35th anniversary. Listen, I think for E3, you're gonna see they're gonna fix our problem. They're gonna fix the Zelda problem.
I think that's what we're probably going to get for Zelda. The only thing I could see them adding to it is Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and if they do that, oh man, it's good times. Zelda is no longer mishandled. Zelda was handled exactly how they needed it to be. And where's Metroid?
Yeah, where's Metroid? You maybe we'll see some Metroid stuff. We'll see some remakes of that, or potentially remakes or ports of some Zelda titles. I think we're gonna see something. We have to, right?
Brand new Zelda Metroid game. That's what I want.
Side scroller?
They could do it however they want. I'm even down for Metroid Other M's that form of hybrid gameplay.
Okay.
Because that was like side scroll and 3D at the
Right.
same time.
Right. Yeah, I think we'll see something. I think they're gonna catch up here. They've been waiting for this. They're gonna
Yeah.
do Zelda right. I can't speak for Metroid. This is just boggles my mind that they have yet to have a Metroid game on this, except for the online app, whatever that is.
Uh, I feel you know what? You know what? I would totally be willing to say, "Hey, Nintendo, I'm okay with not getting Breath of the Wild 2. Bring back F-Zero.
Oh, get out of here.
I will make that sacrifice at the altar.
You
All
are
right?
absolutely out of your
I
ever-loving
will do
mind.
it.
That is
If
are you,
Nintendo's willing to accept it, I will make that sacrifice.
are you listening to yourself? I don't think you can hear yourself.
I want F-Zero so bad.
All right, you're not getting F-Zero. Go play it on your on whatever it is you play that game on. All right, let's go over some upcoming RPGs. It is June 2nd today, but we are going to go back in time. On for June 1st, we have a game called Stonefly. Stonefly looks pretty interesting. It is very late in the announcement. Like this was announced day one. All right, it's coming out. It actually looks pretty cool. The music in it is pretty cool. It's an action RPG where I think you maybe control a robot. Let's go over the description. You harness the wind and soar through the wilderness of Stonefly. Brilliant but naive inventor Annika Stonefly must recover a lost family heirloom using her smarts and strategy. So yeah, like I said, I think you're basically you you make a mech, right?
Yeah, and you're enhancing it and changing out parts to it. Yep.
Yeah. So
It's like a spider mech
yeah.
or look or a bug mech of some sort.
Mm-hmm. So
And
looks pretty
the enemies
interesting.
are also like bug stuff.
Bugs.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is
It
called Stonefly.
it does look interesting.
It's 19.99 on the eShop. Next, we have Winds of Change. This really looks like a kind of you're seeing a lot of these now. You're seeing these kind of narrative visual novel RPGs, and that's essentially what this is with
Uh,
anthropomorphic animals, or maybe.
that look like they were drawn by typical uh the art style looks very reminiscent of what you would see if you look up certain things that
Let's read
uh
the description.
yeah.
Experience the ultimate furry tale. Lead the rebellion to bring peace back into the land tarnished by unjust and cruel rulers. Delve into fully voiced. That's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
Captivating story accentuated by stunning art and difficult choices and deep relationships. So, as I said, experience the ultimate furry tale.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the word that he was trying to make up in his mind.
Yep.
19.99 on the eShop. We're moving on. I don't know how to say this next title. Oh, I'm sorry. Winds of
W-
Change is June 3rd. Also June 3rd. How do you say this?
Wicca.
Wicca?
I think. I mean, I think that's the Wiccan Wicca.
Okay. That actually might make sense because you are a witch.
You
So
are a
it's
witch.
Wicce is the way you spell it. Enter the town of death to save the dear daughter. A witch named Wicca was living with her daughter in a house standing in the deep forest. One day, her daughter went on an errand but did not come back, even after the sun set on the horizon. So Wicca headed to town to look for her daughter. And this is kind of your platformer RPG. Kind of, are these chibi peoples?
Yeah, they are.
Semi
I would
chibi?
say. Yeah, a slightly different take, but yeah, I'd say chibi enough.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the gameplay, but it almost reminds me of the you see it again. You're seeing these a lot with the chibi kind of art style, where they're kind of like marionette, that kind of animation.
Yep.
So that
It
is what we're seeing there. Go
gameplay
ahead.
wise, gameplay wise, it looks like it's Metroidvania esque. There is a interconnected interconnected world map thing
Okay. Yep.
that you are. It looks like you are exploring. So it's like one big world map of multiple interconnected rooms. So I would say it's giving me vibes of Salt and Sanctuary.
Okay.
Give me vibes reminiscent of what this one is. So.
That makes sense. Again, that's June 3rd, and the price. Do you still have that price up? I closed my page. I think it was
Uh,
just over $7.
Yep, a
Um,
little over
all
$7.
right, that is US dollars. All right, next we have Chroma Quaternion. This is a Chemco title, so you've played them once, you've played them all. Moving on, this is it's on sale right now at 13.49. I think it comes out June 3rd. I hate to say it, but it's a Chemco title, so I really do feel that way. I know the people that like Chemco games will disagree, or maybe they won't. I don't know. Let me just read the quick description here. Quest around four kingdoms colored by seasons in a world with four kingdoms, each colored by a season, where roles are granted by the quadedities. Strange happenings suddenly threaten the peace there. A quest begins to find each one's calling in the intrigued fate and journey through the kingdoms to get to the bottom of the mystery. I will say, narratively, Chemco games aren't. That's not where the problem lies. The problem lies is that they all are the same. All right. Next, we have we've mentioned before Griftlands. This comes out June 4th, and is it? It's still not purchasable. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see. It's not purchasable. Purchasable. All right. This is a deck building roguelike where you fight and negotiate your way through broken down sci-fi world. Every decision is important, be it the jobs you take, the friends you make, the cards you collect. Death comes quickly. but each play offers new situations and strategies to explore. This is definitely something I'm going to be getting into. This is $19.99. Again, that's US dollars, available June 4th. All right, cool. Next, we have, again, June 4th, is Skellboy Refractured. This is I'm not sure what to call this game. Skellboy has already come out. This is Skellboy Refractured. I have played the original Skellboy. There was some problems with it. I don't know if this is kind of like their
Fix problems, probably.
yeah, but charge you full price, fix problems. So I'm sure there's some added content on here, but
Well,
try
they do have a big giant bullet list of it looks like fixes
yeah.
or enhancements to it.
Yeah, I mean it's what do you call those type of games? Oh, geez, I can't remember.
Hack and slash.
No, 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 no. The art style.
Oh, hmm. How to describe it? It's
Uh,
kind of like 8-bit hero,
yeah,
kind of
but
like that.
I mean,
Or
there's a specific art style. I can't. It's like it's
that's what a V, right?
oh my god,
Like
it's
ball
voxel.
voxel.
Wow,
Yes.
I could not. Thank you for giving me a hint there. I need to buy a vowel, but that's okay. So yeah, there's brand new new game plus. There's randomized dungeons. There's some added content. So that kind of justifies their adding kind of a whole new IP. I guess it's not really a new IP. But travel across Kobold and take full advantage of your resurrected skeletal body by swapping out body parts and acquiring new abilities on your adventure. But it definitely is a action adventure, whether it's a hack and slash or action RPG. I'm sorry, whether it's a hack and slash or button mashing, whatever. But there's co-op in this. Some people that's kind of
Huh?
a selling feature.
It's pretty much the same as the the prior game, except that with expanded content. Lots of additions here, and hopefully polish.
Yeah. Yep. Again, that's June 4th, and it's on sale right now at 20% discount for $16. All right, another June 4th title. That day is Jammin'. The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom.
Doom, 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 doom.
Oh, am I supposed to? You apply the effects or I apply? I'm not sure.
I'll do it for you.
All right, cool. Description: Join Jack and his friends in an epic post-apocalyptic quest to save our world from the Queen of the Slime Monsters. This is a action RPG, and I want to say it's yep, it is co-op, 1 to 4 players. Not on. I don't think it's online co-op.
Yeah, I don't know if this is an action RPG though. It looks like a beat 'em up.
I think it's similar to yeah, it's a beat 'em up. You can kind of no beat 'em up is more like your Switchrpg, that sort of thing.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
looks like this looks like a beat 'em up.
yeah, you get that feeling.
Yeah,
I
just a
can't
more
fight
modern,
this feeling anymore.
more modern take on a beat 'em up.
Okay. Battle hordes of zombies and monsters in The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom in a semi-open world action RPG that tells a new story in the post-apocalyptic town of Wakefield. Playing as teen survivors Jack, Quint, June, or Dirk, you'll explore zombie-infested streets on your quest to stop Melandre, a powerful adversary, from obtaining the Staff of Doom. Oh,
Doom, doom,
right.
doom, doom.
Oh, so thank you. Thank you. So yeah, that is coming out. It's kind of how would you describe this? You call it a beat 'em up. I still call it an action or
Oh,
RPG.
they called it an action RPG. You just read the words and obeyed.
I obeyed. Oh
You obeyed.
gosh.
Oh, I mean, if you look at the second to last sentence, it says up to 4 players can tackle the story together in couch co-op
Okay.
or take on waves of enemies in horde mode. And the combination of that one statement alone gives me an idea that it's going to be more lean more towards that, coupled with the semi-open world. That kind of couples together to make it seem like it's going to be a kind of linear beat 'em up style thing with some RPG elements.
Beat 'em up, huh? It says action RPG. They said
Sure. It
it.
it is that as well.
All right. In terms of style, what are we looking at here? We kind of got like a 3D cartoon type of thing.
Yeah, the dragon looks good. You see that dragon?
Oh, I do see the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, dragon looks good. The artwork is actually pretty good.
Yeah. I'd have to see what the animations look like and the effects to really
Yeah.
kind of gauge this. Right now, I'm just looking at still images, so it's kind of hard to gauge that. But it's coming out physical. This is who's publishing this? Outright Games, huh? So this is coming out. It's a $40 game, and it is coming out June 4th. I want to see what else. Oh, okay. It kind of makes sense. So Outright Games, they publish games, a lot of licensed games. So Paw Patrol, Adventure Time, Transformers, DreamWorks games, Jumanji, Ice Age, Ben 10, so Hotel Transylvania. So they do a lot of these licensed games, and it kind of has this Last Kids on Earth kind of has that feeling. I don't know if this is an actual already this might even already be a show.
It is.
Okay, look at that.
A show? I don't know.
It is
Netflix. Yep,
something.
it's on Netflix.
It's a book. It
Yep.
is also a show. All right.
Yep.
Well, there you go. You get to play your characters. I'm obviously this is not geared towards us, but might be geared towards my children's. We'll see
Yeah.
about that. They've never heard of the show, but it doesn't matter. All right, cool. That is going to wrap up today's episode. Look at that. We made it. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please send them to podcast@switchrpg.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Discord, hit us up on YouTube. You'll know where to find us. You can listen to the show each and every week at switchrpg.com, and you can subscribe on your favorite podcast app. If you listen to that, please give us a rating and review. We want to climb up them chats on the platform, so your support there would be amazing. And finally, remember to head over to switchrpg.com for all your RPG needs on the Nintendo Switch. Until next time, peace. Super Switch.